Hello, welcome to the PsychoStream, where we watch episodes of Psychoville and then discuss the online ARG as it was released. George, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm George from Headphones UK. I do videos on old movies and TV shows.
And I'm Enchanted Essays. I also make videos on films and TV shows, including one in Inside Number 9, which is going to come out at the end of the month in time for Halloween. And you
Lovely.
can guess in the comments which episode I'm making it on. If you're in the part of the Discord I'm in, the Inside Number 9 Discord, you definitely know.
Yeah.
or if you're on the subreddit, then you'll definitely know which episode I'm talking about. But anyway, so this time we watched episode 5, Joy.
Yes.
So let's go and decided not to make a PowerPoint this time, save us some time. So Lomax had some developments in Lomax's storyline. They were trying to get Sappy the crocodile off the little boy and find out where Sappy the crocodile's gone. And he gives that good monologue about the origins of his toy collection, although I don't know if that would clash at all with his
backstory in the second series. Yes.
For series 2, but we'll obviously save discussion of that for another time.
Yes.
We've got our first comment. Hello, first commenter. It is Zion Craze. Hey yo, hello there.
Ooh, Zion Craze, nice.
Okay, so Lomax is and then of course they've Tea Leaf betrays Lomax with the Crabtree sisters, and they go off to get it. And we find out that it's in the hands of the black-gloved man, the blackmailer.
Yes.
So any comments on Lomax's storyline this week?
I do really like the monologue that he had about his toy collecting starting, even though, like you said, it may not be true given what we find out about in the next series, but it was a really good monologue. And it was really funny when it turned out he was speaking to the wrong door.
Yeah. Yeah, it was brilliant. And I don't think I've got any more to say with that storyline.
Yeah.
Let's see who's next. Mr. Jolly and Mr. Jelly. It's mostly just exposition then. It's literally just them in the car in this episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a good decision that they added the stuff with Mr. Jolly's clown car breaking down and bubbles coming out of it and things. I thought that was that wasn't originally in the scene, and then they were like, well, we need something to break up all this exposition.
Yeah.
And of course, we found out about Nurse Kensington
and Ravenhill.
And the key. This is the episode where everyone gets a key to Ravenhill, which of course looks like it has the logo of the Hunger Games on it.
Yeah, you said that, and it's like, oh my god, yeah, I never noticed that before.
Yeah. Hello to Joe Sonic Boom. And Zion Cray says, I think this is the first episode of Psychoville that I watched. Oh, so out of order then. Yeah, unlike Inside Number 9, apart from last week's episode, David and Maureen, it must be quite an odd one to watch out of sequence.
Yeah.
Although I was
There's
thinking
a lot of exposition in this episode.
Yeah, because of all the revelations. I think it's interesting that that's not something that really happens anymore. Or it doesn't happen as much anymore. People watching shows out of sequence because people watch it on streaming and catch up and things. Most of the time, people do just watch stuff in order, especially if it's a series like this. But anyway, let me think. I think the flashback scenes are great at establishing Kensington and because of course we get a shot of her during episode 3 during that videotape that we see Joy watching.
Yes.
And yeah, I think it's a really good way of introducing the character and progressing the plot. And of course in general, I think the dialogue, the little bits of non-exposition dialogue that we get between Mr. Jelly and Mr. Jolly is very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yes, Robert's story.
should probably go further ahead for Robert's story.
Yes.
See if I get a shot of him and Debbie together.
There we go.
So yes, of course, in this episode, Debbie wakes up from her coma, and thinks that Robert is her boyfriend, and he kind of just plays along with it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all we get in this one. We do get another scene with the cast of the panto.
Yes.
So I'm crazy. So that was plainly by accident when it was on BBC Two. I think I saw everything afterwards from the beginning later.
So it was a rerun.
Yeah. So yeah, what was I saying? It was you didn't get a lot of screen time from them this week, but yeah, I think it was pretty good. The storyline. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it with the way Rob tries to go along with the whole Debbie thinks that he's her boyfriend thing, it does seem a little bit shitty of him, but it's like I can kind of understand why he did it.
Yeah, he starts off as the most likable character of the main 5, and then he slowly becomes less likable.
Yes.
And I think this is where that starts. And of course, at the same time, we're sympathizing with the other characters more.
Yeah.
Okay, so David and Maureen. Again, didn't see that much of Maureen, but very memorable scene with David. They go to murder Robin, one of the other actors, in a waxwork museum in the I can't remember what they call it, the Hall of Murderers or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Which, for those of you who don't know, used to be a thing in Madame Two Swords.
Yes.
And is no longer a thing. In fact, I was saying earlier that I know of at least one killer who was in the 40s or 50s who was being hung for murder, and he donated his clothes to Madame Two Swords so that they could be used for his waxwork, which I just think is very creepy.
And when you told me that, I said that sounds like it could be the plot of a Tales from the Crypt episode where this clothes maintain the soul of the serial killer and possess the dummy and bring it to life.
Yeah, that would be good. Let me think. By the way, Robin is the actor that plays him. I saw in an episode of The New Statesman the other day as another MP. I was like,
cool.
oh, that's him. As with all episodes of The New Statesman or Yes Minister or The Thick of It, I cannot tell you what the plot of the episode was. It doesn't it made sense to me at the time, but now I'm just like, there was some politics happening, and
yeah.
So yeah, and then of course we get that fantastic song sequence with the serial killers.
That whole scene was really good. I mean, the song sequence was great, but the banter between the various serial killers, who obviously in real life didn't know each other, I thought was brilliant, and I would love to have seen more of that. Like this idea of all these dead serial killers who are living in the same space, arguing about who had the best murders.
Yeah. Hello to a name that I cannot read, but I will put your comment on the screen. Hello to you.
Oh, it's Needhog.
Needhog's 92. Hello to you.
It's a Swedish name, so that's why it's difficult to
Ah,
pronounce.
yes. I apologize. I'm terrible with foreign names. And so yes, so yeah, and of course, we start to see that Maureen is starting to enjoy the killings more than David is,
Yes.
which we did already see in the last episode. But in the original, the way when they originally wrote this, of course, as we said last time, David and Maureen is written after the other 6 episodes. So when they
Yes.
wrote this, they were intending for this to be this would have been the moment where we saw for the first time that Maureen's enjoying it more than he is. But I still think it's quite a smooth transition, but
It
with
is,
their
yeah.
arcs, include despite there being this other episode that they wrote in the middle. I think it sort of makes it smoother. And and let me think. Yeah, and it's like, so what did you do? Strangle. Is that all? I thought we'd have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maureen's always a brilliant character. But yeah, and yeah, the serial killers say, can't remember exactly what the line is that there's always someone worse, and in this case, it's your mother.
So he's very Ed Gein situation, basically.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's all we've got to say for David and Maureen, which only leaves, if I can find it, there's the Jack the Ripper song, Joy. So,
Yes.
in this episode, Joy and George come back from an evening out, and they and the nurse that she punched in a previous episode, I cannot remember her name, but she's babysitting Freddie, and well, whilst George is dropping her home, Freddie comes to life and attacks Joy, and
In a very creepily done scene.
yes, and in fact, the idea of Joy is that the character came from Reese Smith and Steve Pemberton both being fathers and going to antenatal classes and thinking, I wonder if one of those midwives ended up getting chased by one of those baby dolls. Wouldn't that be funny? And they built the whole character around that scene.
That explains a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because those practice dolls do look creepy.
Yeah, I mean, especially Freddie with him being sort of like dirty rags.
Well, he's an old-fashioned one where the head is
Mm.
plastic, but the body's made out of an old rag doll.
Yeah, I think that the discoloration of the body, I think, makes it even creepier.
Yeah.
Um,
Makes it
always
look
think,
like a baby that's had its head transplanted onto a different body.
yeah, yeah, and it gives us the sense that this hasn't been washed in a long time. This is not
Yeah.
a okay doll. Anyway, so yeah, obviously it sets it apart from the other dolls. So yes, Joy is then attacked by Freddie on the back of a remote control car, and it seems like she's been scared to death. And it turns out it's Joy and the nurse, and they've been having an affair.
George and the
Because of
nurse.
course the most watertight way of killing someone is trying to scare them to death.
Yeah, and as I
And
said
then,
when we were watching it, there's always divorce. You could have done that.
yes, usually with these sort of things, they do try and establish a reason why there can't be a divorce. And
It's like, even if they wanted Joy to die, with the grief she went through after being divorced from her husband, she probably would have killed herself anyway. So it's a win-win if you want to have it be that way.
oh, that is dark.
I know, but this show is dark, so I'm just going along
It
with its
is. It's not that
mentality.
dark. So what was I saying? So yeah. So yeah, yeah, and then not with that airtight way of killing someone, not checking if they're dead.
Yeah, they always don't check if they're actually dead.
Yeah, so it happens multiple times in the show.
I mean, to be fair, the only reason I can think they wanted her to die of a heart attack was because it's a death that has the least amount of suspicion to it. because there's no way that they can prove that somebody else actively did it to them.
Yeah, and also her falling down the stairs. I think that they've intended to kill her by her falling down the stairs, and obviously that didn't work. Which
trying to make it look as much like an accident as possible, which wouldn't really work considering that they bit her on the hand and scratched her on the face. That's going to look a bit suspicious to the coroner.
Ah, indeed, signs of a struggle.
Mm.
So, it's going to be Joy's site that we'll look at today. So, of course, as usual, when I remember how to share the screen, I'm going to show you my holy of holies. Okay, so here's the website. It's loading now.
Needhog said the holy horror.
Indeed. Okay, so this is Joy's website. As you can see, this is where the video would be, but that has been uploaded to YouTube. That was uploaded by the BBC to Joy's official YouTube channel. So, and that's the only video on it. So we can check that one out. So there are 2 pages for this one. Let's see. I think there's the euphemisms on the other page. Yeah, there's nothing that's been. There's none of those broken flash things. The orange broken flash things. I think there might be one on the next page. And
we'll see.
There is something on that's flash on here that wasn't working. I think still doesn't work. But I do have a photo of it. So thanks to Dr. Tom Phillips once again for providing me with his information on Psychoville. So we're going to start off with that video.
Alicia Alvarado on my Discord just said, "How dare you start when I haven't arrived yet?"
Sorry, Alicia. Okay. Again, I noticed just as we were going live that I hadn't downloaded it, and then I was like, "Oh, it's potato quality. This is 2009. This will be very easy to download."
Yeah.
Anyway, let's have a look.
Hello and welcome to A Little Bundle of Joy. I am Joy, and this is my little bundle, Freddie. Say hello, Freddie. Hello. That's just silly, really, because Freddie, of course, can't speak because he's too young to speak. So today we're going to be talking about breastfeeding. And believe it or not, some women give up breastfeeding when their nipples are sucked red raw. But personally for me, that's the very pain that makes me feel truly alive. Right, pump, please, George. This is George and this is the pump. Now, this is an expressor which you clamp onto your bosom, and you pump thusly. Obviously, this isn't going to work on me now because I've got my top on and my bra. So, in fact, I have actually, after 5 or 6 hours of solid suction, managed to get a few dribbles out there for the baby. So, George, the milk is full of creamy goodness, isn't it?
Oh, no, Joy.
Come on, George. It's full of creamy goodness, George.
Joy, please.
Come on. What is it, George?
Full of creamy goodness.
That's right. And so next week, we'll be back talking about burping and winding techniques. And I'll be burping and winding George.
You can see why I tried to kill her now.
Yeah.
I remember actually when I first saw the episode with the plot twist, I was quite surprised because he was kind of one of the more sympathetic characters until he tried to kill her.
Yeah, but then you see stuff like this and you go, yeah, I can see that. Although the most disturbing part is that I know there's people out there who will watch that and think, I would love to do that.
Oh yeah.
There's a big fetish. There's a big fetish out there for breast milk.
Needhog has said, "Is that a teddy bear's body with the head of a doll and a diaper on?" Well,
Yes.
we have been, yeah, we were discussing earlier. It's one of those old-fashioned baby dolls, so it's like a would have been a white rag sort of rag body with stuffing in, but it's become very discolored and brown.
Yeah, because obviously Joy thinks it's a real baby, so she's not going to put it in a washing machine.
Yeah, and 5 or 6 hours. Yes, that was funny. R.I.P. Yeah, poor George. I did not know that this existed here. What existed here?
I think he means the video.
Ah. So yeah, that's a funny video. I love the bit where she goes, "Freddie, of course, can't talk because he's too young to talk."
I know, yeah. It's actually a good way to introduce us to Joy's character, where you just think, oh, she's just a very enthusiastic midwife. Oh no, she's a lunatic.
Yeah. Cyan Craze. This video
and
and
this
website. Ah, have you seen any of the other videos and websites, Cyan Craze?
Well, I don't remember him being at the previous live stream, so maybe he's not
Yeah,
aware
me
of all the viral marketing stuff.
Yeah, obviously, definitely recommend checking out the previous shows. Okay, so let's go back to the website.
That picture of Freddie is so creepy.
Yeah. All right. Of course, I think we'll both have to try doing a Joy impression today.
Oh God.
So yeah, let's take it in turns. I'll try going first.
You start first, yeah.
Advice to young mums: passing a watermelon. Motherhood is the most natural thing in the world. If men think about the S word once every 8 minutes during the day, and it's not Satsuma, then women think about not what goes in, but what comes out of their bodies once the S act has been performed. Again, not Satsuma. Although we did have a Burmese ladyboy in Casualty once with a kumquat lodged in his/her anus, but that's another story. Yes, the desire to create a new life is entirely natural. And yet the act of pushing said new life from your stomach into the nicotine-stained hands of an elderly Irish midwife does not seem natural at all. It hurts. It hurts a lot. And if you don't have the right professional help and advice, then you could end up being torn so badly you won't know when your vagina ends and your anus begins. A bit like the Burmese ladyboy. But fear not. Auntie Joy is here to hold your hand through the entire process and describe what will happen at every stage of your pregnancy. So even if you end up losing your voice through screaming during the lonely long hours of searing contractions, at least you'll think to yourself, I knew it would be like this. Joy told me. Okay, so you can tell me in the comments what you think of.
I do want to say that since Joy's meant to be from Bristol, she would say watermelon as watermelon.
Watermelon. Yeah, I need to try and think like it's like Steve Merchant. That's what I'm trying to do. The picture of Freddie on the right looks like a puppet from Peppermint Park. I haven't seen Peppermint Park. It rings a bell.
But yeah, it is very creepy. I just got to think back to when I was in Bristol last year.
Yeah. Well, would you like to try reading this section?
Yes, I will. The ins and outs of conception. The first stage of the process, becoming pregnant, it's not always easy. Not even the top scientists in America can explain why some teenagers on a housing estate can have 3 babies by 3 different fathers in 29 months, while a healthy lady in a suburban semi who food shops at M&S can struggle to conceive for most of her adult life. It's not fair. But if God rolls the dice, and if you want it, that's the way that it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Go and buy a toddler from the latest tsunami. Wow. And I thought my comment about her killing herself was dark.
Yeah.
There are some kinds of old wives' tales about the best ways to conceive. I should know, I'm old and a wife. My husband George and I always stuck to the missionary position, whereby the gentleman is on top supporting himself on his elbows, and the lady raises her knees to a comfortable height and gets on with her Catherine Cookson until the act is over. Once the gentleman has dressed the salad, a lovely euphemism there, it
Ooh.
is advisable for the lady to hold her feet above her head for at least an hour. The omnibus edition of The Archers is usually a good timer. This can be a rather erroneous, I was having trouble figuring out what that word's supposed to mean. This can be a rather erroneous and put strain on your lower back, not to mention your candlewick bedspread. And so the gentleman can assist the lady by holding her ankles up high. That is, if he hasn't already gone downstairs to watch the dispatch box in his underpants.
Well, it's a testament to the writing that I can still hear it in Joy's voice, even when we're doing impressions of Joy.
I know. But yeah, dress the salad. I'll have to use that one more. I'll have to use that in the future.
I don't know what's more horrifying, the idea of that, or just sitting and having to listen to the Archer's omnibus.
Oh God! At that point, the sperm will become so bored they won't go anywhere.
Maybe that's why they were struggling to conceive. Maybe
yeah,
that's what did it.
probably. The Archers was killing the fertilization process. They started hanging themselves with their own tails out of sheer boredom.
Hello, Red Fox Reviewer.
Hey,
Welcome back.
Here.
Brian Damage. I need to remember how it's Brian, not Brain. Brian Damage. That tsunami is bleak. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very bleak joke.
Yeah. Did Joy have a miscarriage? We do find out in the Halloween episode what actually happened to her.
Yes,
and then on the website that comes out around the Halloween special, we find out why she ended up in Ravenhill, the asylum. But we do get a line in episode 3 where George says, "I'm just trying to help you," and she goes, "Like you helped Paul," and which is it's a very low blow. So,
and they also said, "And I need you like I need your useless seed," which is another little clue.
Yes. So yes, it does seem that they did succeed in conception once, but it did not. Something happened. Anyway, seedling, boiled egg, coconut, pumpkin. No, these are not the latest trendy baby names used by celebrities like Jonathan Ross and Paula Yates. These are the industry standard terminologies for the 4 stages of your pregnancy. Each of the 4 stages is called a trimester, Latin for 3 stages. Your seedling stage is the early days. You might not even know you are pregnant and may be tempted to buy one of these rip-off home pregnancy testing kits made fashionable by television and adverts. Save your money. You'll know soon enough if you are pregnant by following Joy's test as follows. Are you spending your tampon money on takeaway cappuccinos? Do you shout at your partner for at least 27 times a day for offences such as flossing his teeth so loudly and not reminding you to phone your sister? Have you cried unexpectedly whilst crossing the road / paying for groceries / watching Hotel Babylon? Can you smell burning licorice in every room of the house? Do you belch up foul-smelling bile first thing in the morning while pulling on your tights? I'm going Irish here, I think.
You're going slightly Irish, yes.
We're racist now, Father. If the answer to at least one of these questions is yes, then you may well be pregnant. Consult your GP or purchase a home testing pregnancy kit just to be sure. 6 to 7 weeks later, you're at the boiled egg stage. Which isn't spelt boiled right. And
Oh
by
yeah,
this
it
point,
hasn't.
you're probably dying to tell the world about your exciting news. Don't. It's a manner of things that can go wrong. You'll be left with egg on your face, especially if it's a soft-boiled egg. Wait until you feel the coconut stage, which is when you have to ditch the trendy capri pants and get stone-washed jeans with an elasticated waistband. The coconut trimester begins officially when you've first offered a seat in public transport. Make a note of this date, as it will be used to guesstimate your due day. As your due day approaches, you'll start to see purple varicose veins spread up your legs and into your pubic triangle. Your nipples will be pulled taut like a cat's face or an overinflated balloon, and your cute belly button will pop out like a button mushroom. You will have strange cravings such as raw flour, off milk, and Jeremy Kyle. It isn't over already. Your marriage will be at breaking point. You're hungry and full, tired and awake, happy and sad. You're pumpkin. It's time to pack your bag. Okay, I'll just check the see if we've got any comments. No, so you can continue with this one, George.
All right.
No.
And don't forget the kitchen sink. I'm going Irish now. I'm not a racist. There is an art to packing the bag that you will need to take to hospital with you, which is why I've drawn up a list of essential items to help you. 28 pairs of knickers. You will not be continent. As in incontinent. What's the continents got to do with this? Don't bother with slippers. You're not going anywhere. Old dressing gown / nightdress. Don't get the new one for the occasion, as you will still be picking bits of placenta out of it 6 months later. Toothbrush and toothpaste. Well, that's just practical. 10 by 3,000 piece jigsaws, one for each centimetre of dilation. Your husband will need something to occupy him. Bomb the book of Sudoku. Cassette recorder. Some people make birthing tapes of favourite songs. Others like whale and dolphin noises. While won't help much, but if you turn it up loud enough, you can drown out the screams from the other women in the ward. Could you scroll down a bit for me, thanks?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Tupperware. We can't always lay our hands on something to put the afterbirth in, and some people like to take it home with them. Yuck.
Oh.
Yeah. Cash and cigarettes. You'll be amazed how much more quickly that gas and car arrives when you've got some bargaining tools. Chew toy. Rinse before use. Toilet paper. We are not a hotel. Makeup. Babies can be a funny colour when you first pop them out, and you don't want to scare your guests. Yeah, because putting makeup on them is a great idea. Baby record book. To note down the exact time of birth, weight, length, midwife's name, etc. Unless it's your second or third child, in which case you can fill it in from memory when they turn 13. It's very true, is that you don't make as much of a fuss for the second or third child in the family.
Yeah.
Waste paper bin. For your diary and all of your friends' addresses and phone numbers. Won't be needing them anymore.
That's sad.
You can do this next bit.
Okay. We've got some more comments. Nick Hoggs said, "I hope Johnny didn't look at this in Cobra Kai." I haven't seen Cobra Kai, so I'm afraid I don't know what you're referencing.
I'm assuming that there's maybe a birth scene in Cobra Kai.
Hi, Alicia Alvarado.
Alicia's
Thank you
here.
for joining
Hello.
us. We shouted you out earlier in the stream when we saw your Discord message.
Yeah, on my server, yes, of
Yeah.
which is now a brand new admin. So congratulations to that,
Oh,
Alicia.
congrats, Alicia. And Brian Damage says the reference to 3,000-piece jigsaws, I think, relates to how long labour can typically take. Not like in most TV shows when the baby arrives before the woman has even gotten the ambulance. Yes, yeah, I've heard it.
Very true, yeah. Although sometimes in TV shows they do like play with cinematic time, and when they say, "Well, I've
Yeah, of
actually
course.
been here for maybe like a day or two."
Yeah, yeah. And hello to Ben Zamori. Thank you for joining us. No worries about being late. Always a pleasure to have you here. Okay, I'll just read this last bit here. It's best to have your bag in the hall or in the boot a good 6 to 8 weeks before the due day, so you're ready for all eventualities. When I went with my Paul, I was packed and ready after 6 months, and still it wasn't straightforward. You never know. Never know. It's quite faddish now for some women to choose a home birth. This akin to having a home kidney transplant or home haircut. I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. Get off your backside and let us do our job properly.
You're going Judy Finnegan again.
And of course, I'll just need to get rid of the message here. So you can see they've got one of those old visitor counts
Old-fashioned
they had on
visitors
the
counter,
website.
which is literally 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, and of course, that more information as we know is taking you to the Psychoville website.
Man, it's been a long time since I've seen a website with a visitors counter at the bottom. Even like really old websites that are still active from the 90s got rid of those ages ago.
Yeah, they've got one on the. Remember on the first PsychoStream, I showed you the Welcome Home ARG. They've got one of those on there. They had a guest book as well, but when the site went viral, it got filled up, so they closed it. Anyway, let's go back to this. So,
actually, to be honest, considering what they do with the websites for the second series, I'm surprised that the visitors counter wasn't some sort of secret code.
Indeed. Wait, it looks like there's something you can click on here for the ads.
Oh, okay. Let's see what it takes.
And it seems to have just taken us back up to the page.
It just reroutes.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's interesting this first ad. Make your clown's pocket a mouse's ear, because of course there is a first episode of series 2. They mess around with the similar euphemisms.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think all of these are taking us down to the different sections of this page, and then euphemisms and the Freddy cam are both on the next page.
So
It's a shame the photos aren't working. I have seen the photos, although I think I've seen them elsewhere rather than on one of the crawls. I can't remember if they might come up on one of the crawls. I don't know, but because I have the feeling I have seen them on this website before, but I don't know if that's a screenshot of like someone else looking at someone else's screenshot of the site, or if I've actually seen them here on one of these crawls. I'll no flash things coming up now. So, and there should be a picture of Freddy, like a static, or at least it's a static image now. I think it was originally some kind of video, but
I remember when I looked, yeah, it looked to be it was a very long video that just showed Freddy motionless, and every once in a while you may see Joy coming in or something like that.
Yes, so this may take a while. No luck. So as you can see, there's 4 years between these two crawls.
I can see, yes.
Get this one to work. Yes. It's taking a while for each of these to load.
And sadly, not much luck with each successive one.
Yeah. I forgot to say there is. Think I showed it a few weeks
Hey, there we
ago
go.
when we. Well, we've got. So we're gonna get some. You've got the photos, and then we're gonna get some orange squares. But I will be able to show you what the orange squares were, thankfully. So yeah, we can see the photo gallery of Joy and George. Reminds me of the line in episode 3. What? How do you think I feel when people come round and see that? Proud, I hope.
Is it loaded on your end? Because I can't see anything.
No, looks like the close-ups of the photos aren't going to load, but you
Yeah,
can
that's a
see them
shame.
here. They must have had great fun going and taking all these photos. I think they definitely had fun with all the things they did.
Oh yeah.
Creating this extra content. I think they definitely had a great time. But
Look at George holding up Freddy there. He looks so fed up.
yeah, although not as fed up as he does in the Halloween special. Because of course it's like Treehouse of Horror. He's more cruel in the Halloween special.
Well, yeah, but the events have happened. What in that particular section didn't actually happen. It was a story.
Yeah, of course. So it does work. Characters being slightly out of character.
Yeah, like you say,
So-
it's like Treehouse of Horror. It's a bunch of stories of things that didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
One of which is a spoof of the classic Night Gallery section Eyes.
Well, an example of Treehouse of Horror that they can work fast and loose with the characters instead of doing it in every episode like they do these days. Is when there's the apocalypse and Lisa's one of the most intelligent people on the planet and is going to be taken off a space shuttle, and this government
Yeah.
agent says, Lisa, I'm sorry, this is a decision no child should have to make.
You have to pick one of your parents.
Mom!
And I love how when she picks Mum, they just let her take Maggie on board. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're holding your baby. We don't care.
Yeah. It wouldn't be fair if they killed Maggie with Bart at home at the end of the episode. Although, as we all know, Maggie could probably fend for herself in an apocalypse world.
You probably could, yeah.
Anyway,
God, sorry, but I think I've got a cold coming on, so my nose is snotty as hell.
not a problem. Shall I do the euphemisms and you do the glossary?
I'll do the glossary, yes.
Yeah. Joy's euphemisms for polite conversation. Hello there, parents, soon to be parents, and would love to be parents, for the fact that there are no horses in the trap. See glossary below. Now, for most of us, nothing could be more natural than talking about the moment when the emerging head of our newborn gives our labia what basically amounts to a Chelsea smile.
Oh.
Nothing could feel more comfortable than having a good old natter about the excrement that shuffles from your back bottom as your child is being pushed from your front bottom. And nothing could feel more right than chit-chatting the night away about your husband not wanting to have sex during pregnancy for fear his todger will bang against the baby's head like a policeman's truncheon during the miners' strike. For others, however, this seems to be a problem. You see these types at a dinner party, and they come over all prudy. They seem unwilling, for example, to discuss the placenta while spreading liver pate on their ciabatta.
Oh.
If you happen to be one of these people, help is finally at hand. Below, I have developed a glossary of pregnancy-related euphemisms for polite society. I hope you'll find them useful, but also that one day you'll summon up the courage to call a spade and a prolapsed vagina a prolapsed vagina. Happy reading! Joy! Kiss, kiss.
Just to explain to those who haven't heard the term Chelsea smile, which is also called the Glasgow smile, is basically what happened to the Joker in The Dark Knight, where you take a knife and you slash someone's lips open. So I'm sure
Brian
that's going
Damage is commenting on my my internet with the guessing the photos up there. Time to upgrade that dial-up, Enchanted.
I think it's a mixture of that and just because that the capture wasn't particularly well balanced or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it
Thanks
could be.
for that thumbs up, Red Fox Reviewer.
Could be 6 of one, half dozen of the other. We'll never know.
Yeah. So that's how Joker got his scars, says Benzamori 97.
He was giving birth through his mouth.
Okay, so
It was like King Piccolo in Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball rather. Okay, glossary. Caesarean. Jon Aird in Alien. Belly pop. Bikini bye bye. Yes. Having sex with a pregnant woman. Crowd trouble at Millwall game. One-eyed chimney sweep. These are brilliant. I love this. Water's breaking. The River Minge has burst its banks. The Soon Army. Freddy Steady Go. Not applicable to all. I could read these forever.
yeah.
Lactating. Crying creamy tears. The umbilical cord. Baby's body bungee. Fleshy Rapunzel. Oh, that's Rampunzel. They spelt it wrong. Nappy changing. The Emperor's new clothes. Slopping out. Not quite sure I get the Emperor's new clothes one, but fair enough.
Well, do you know what the tale of the Emperor's new clothes
I know
is?
the story. The story is that the Emperor was given a supposed set of clothes that only the most intelligent and wealthy and well-to-do people could see, but in reality they were tricking him and they didn't give him any clothes at all.
Indeed. Although I remember reading somewhere that that's only the Hans Christian Andersen version, and in an earlier version it was you were a cuckold if you couldn't see the clothes.
Sounds about right. So, infertile. There are no horses in the traps, bullets in the guns, bees in the meadow. Accidentally excreting whilst giving birth. Rolling out the brown carpet. Mum's smelly crash mat. Oh dear, imagine you give birth and that's the first thing that happens is your baby lands in that stuff. Menstruation. A mouth like your life down in the bog. Abortion. Okay, could you scroll down a bit, thanks?
Yeah.
Just 3 more. The pill. Abortion by mouth. Lovely. Breastfeeding. Taking a visit to the dairy. Off to see nursey nipple. Powdered milk. Teat cheat. So she's sounds like a lot of midwives I've heard of. They can be surprisingly very political and very natural centric.
Well, of course, with Joy, I think it's a big part of her character is she kind of sees the suffering of pregnancy and motherhood. I think is a big thing to her.
Yeah,
I think it could be like a big thing in Christian communities. I heard that's why
yes,
in Twilight, Bella's pregnancy is like so horrific because they're like, you see, a woman has to suffer. It doesn't matter what medical life-saving procedures are available. The mother should suffer, and that the more mother suffers, the more she's proving that she's a good mother.
Yeah. But I've seen that sort of character done more seriously. That there was a character in Casualty, I believe, a nurse who got pregnant, or at least thought she was, but it was actually a hysterical pregnancy. She thought she was pregnant, but she wasn't. But she was so desperate to give birth, and she actually wanted to feel the pain because she wanted to have a kid so badly that she actually wanted to fight during the delivery process. There's people who are just so intensely in love with the idea of having kids that they actually want to go through the pain of pregnancy because they feel like it's the suffering to get the prize at the end. So with Joy, you can really see that in her character because we presume she can't have kids anymore. And even if it wasn't to do with her husband, she looks like she's probably hit the menopause anyway. And so still working as a midwife, she's constantly reminded of the things that she wants to do again but can't anymore.
Yeah.
So it's actually it's very like, even though she's one of the more crueler and more slightly sadistic characters in the series, she is one of the most sympathetic when you look below the surface.
Yeah, I think the fact that she's both is what makes her so interesting, and big part of Dawn French does play her so well.
She does play it amazingly well. I mean, like I said, Dawn French is amazing in anything, but she does such a good job with the role, and she does the accent so flawlessly as well. Because it doesn't seem like she's putting it on.
And we've learned today that it's not very easy.
It's not as easy as it looks. No.
Okay, I'll have a quick look at the comments. Yep, I guess the cutting face thing does come from Glasgow. This is referencing the Joker, I'm guessing. He spits out an egg at Batman. Yeah, I guess he's talking about the bit where we're talking about him getting his scars from giving birth to his face. Now I can't stop imagining Heath Ledger with a Scottish accent.
Didn't he have an English accent in The Knight's Tale?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. Oh, I did. I know at some point when I was younger, I did see him in that Terry Gilliam film, Brothers Grimm. Traumatized me. I was about 12 or 13 when I saw that, and it was properly traumatizing.
Was like, yeah, the three movies that he's most well known for: Dark Knight, A Knight's Tale, and The Brothers Grimm.
Yeah, that scarred me, that film. I think the surprising thing was that I was at a friend's house, and the kid who put the film on was younger than me, like by 3 or 4 years younger than me.
Keep an eye on that kid. But it's funny because Terry Gilliam has gone on record and said that he didn't want to direct that movie, but he was just so desperately needed work that he took it anyway.
Yeah, wasn't there something about Harvey Weinstein meddling with it as well?
Sounds about right. The movie was not very well received.
And of course, I know Harvey Weinstein obviously was well known for his sort of Oscar dramas, but I know in animation he had a really terrible reputation for properly messing up films, like the US release of Magic Roundabout.
I was just about the US release of Magic Roundabout, and even then, the Magic Roundabout movie was not good anyway. But yeah, the US version was even worse.
Yeah, his it seems his technique was shout pop culture references, say pop culture references. Pop culture references are funny. Just don't make them jokes. Just say the names of films.
So basically, the typical lazy writer.
Yes. Where's the yawning donkey? In reference to the euphemisms that I was.
Yeah, that's a euphemism for when you're fully dilated.
Yes, which was of course used in episode 1 of series 2.
Yes.
Yes, Lomax says it. Brian Damage, the actor Tommy Flanagan has a Glasgow smile. You'll have seen him in Braveheart, Gladiator, and TV show Sons of Anarchy. Oh, I didn't know that. I know of an actor with a scar being Oliver Reed. He was worried that he got scarred in a bar fight because it may shock many of you, but Oliver Reed drank.
Yeah.
And so yeah, in a bar fight, he got. Someone cut his face, and he was worried that it would ruin his career. But of course, he ended up, having a long career playing villains. So he played, obviously, he played Bill Sykes, and he played his
Tommy's
stepdad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, even then, that was in his younger days, playing those characters. But yeah, it's like he was already a villainous kind of character, and the scar just kind of cemented that.
Yeah.
He's just got that. He just had that amazingly creepy 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah. He was really brilliant at that.
Yeah, but it was also kind of clever in Tommy when you watch it, and you can see when you watch my review, which stars Enchanted Essays.
Indeed.
But you can see in the earlier scenes that he tries to be soft and friendly and approachable, but he slowly transitions into the more sadistic character he becomes.
And he's far more of a villain than that role is in the original album. Obviously, they swapped the dad and stepdad in the
because in the original album, it was Tommy's biological dad that killed him, and he was the villain eventually.
Yeah, although he isn't as much of a villain. They do make him far more of a villain in the
movie, but that's because with a concept album, things can be a little bit more left to interpretation. With a movie, you kind of have to make things a bit more clear,
and it makes the film a bit more sort of narratively coherent to have that through the film.
Yes.
Anyway, Ben Murray says, love that one. Cheat. Zion Cray says, now I'm thinking of that character from Carry On Doctor. I have not seen Carry On Doctor, so
I don't think I've seen that one. No,
I don't think I've seen any Carry Ons actually.
I've seen a few. I've seen Carry On Spying. I've seen Carry On Camping, the classic.
You
should check out some of the Carry On films. I think they'd be up your street.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen my review of Sextet, that you'll know I do have a soft spot for innuendo. I think I gave the nicest review of that film on the internet.
Well,
I still don't think much of it, but I'm like, there's still good innuendos. I don't care how old she is.
Yeah, but don't watch any of the Confessions movie, like Confessions of a Window Cleaner. Those are like the low-rent, cheap versions of the Carry On films.
Yes. I feel like we talked about them. We mentioned them in a previous stream. I don't know if that was referencing Biggins or something.
Maybe.
Anyway, Zion Cray says, well, Dougal was written by Butch Hackman. No, I didn't spell that last name wrong. Yes. Have you heard about that?
No.
I think it was LS Mark's video, who's obviously talked about Butch Hartman a lot and then ended up interviewing him quite awkwardly.
To be fair, like Butch Hartman is a good writer when he's given his own stuff to work with. It's not like, well, here's a show that's one of the weirdest and most surreal TV shows ever. Write us a script who mostly does cartoon series that the episodes are about 15 minutes long that are mostly quite grounded and have rather a relatable sense of humor. It's like you can give a bad project to the best writer in the world. They can only polish it so much.
Yeah, I think there were multiple writers. So we know he wrote a draft, and he said he wrote one of the earlier drafts of that version. But yeah, still, Butch Hartman has fallen in reputation. Publicly,
oh yeah, he has.
But I will say I do like Tough Puppy. My boyfriend really likes Tough Puppy.
I still like the older Fairly Odd Parents episodes. Those are still really good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in ages. I remember Adam West appearing in it, and I was like, what? Like, from Batman? How is he here? I don't know why, it just seemed like the most impossible thing for Adam West to be in.
No, it's like after the 90s, he was like, well, I know my lot in life is to be considered Batman for the rest of my career, so I might as well just pick any job, even if it's mostly making fun of myself.
Yeah. Benson Murray 97 says, I have a soft spot for Magic Roundabout 2005. The UK version, anyway. Yeah, I remember watching it at the time, and I remember my parents saying, "Oh, this is based on the cartoon we had." In fact, I remember hearing that the original Magic Roundabout was a French cartoon, the people who wrote the English dub didn't know what on earth was going on, so they just made it up.
That's absolutely true. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's very interesting. I remember our Carry On comments on Discord. They went on for hours. Yeah. Was that on your Discord?
Yes.
Yeah. Just Carry On blank constantly. Oh, are you coming up with Carry On titles?
Just Carry On blank constantly.
Yeah, let's in the comments. Try and think of a Carry On title for Psychoville. Carry On blackmailing. Carry On killing. Carry On strangles.
Well, there is a Carry On film called Carry On Screaming. That fits.
Yeah. Brian Damage says, Robin Asquith sends his regards. I believe that is a reference to Inside Number 9. I won't spoil it, but yes. Very good. And of course, he was in Carry On and I think Confessions as well. Timmy is Danny. What? I don't know what this comment means.
That's reference to Butch Hartman. Timmy's voice actress is the same as Danny's voice actress.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't think I ever saw Danny Phantom. I don't know if...
I watched some bits of Danny Phantom. It was never really my thing. It's a good show, but it wasn't really my thing.
I only had the 5 channels growing up until I moved, and then I only had 4. So I don't know if maybe it wasn't shown on the 4 channels like.
It was shown on CITV.
Was it? Oh, I don't know then.
Which
Maybe I
is
just
funny
don't remember
because
it.
it's funny because BBC got the rights to showing Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah. It's funny how these things turn out, isn't it? I remember. I remember. Yeah, a few things like I know I didn't grow up. I think things like Hannah Montana were shown on the main 4 channels because I know I didn't watch it, even though I would have been the right age when it first came
No,
out.
that did show on CITV.
Oh, did it? Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe I just didn't have.
Which again was weird because Lizzie McGuire was shown on CBBC.
Yeah, I used to love Lizzie McGuire. It was it was Emma Thompson's dad, Eric Thompson, who wrote Magic Roundabout. I never knew that. I knew her dad.
Knew that.
I knew her dad something in show business. I think he was an actor or something. I know he worked with actors, but yeah, I never knew that. Thank you as always, Brian Damage. You always come up with great information. Carry on Lomaxing. Carry on clowning. Just carry on cheating. Carry on trepidation. Carry on psyching. I think I might have to make some of these a poll on my community tab. Brilliant. Well,
yeah, let's call it there for tonight then.
Almost. I do have that screenshot. So many thanks again to Dr. Tom Phillips from the University of East Anglia, I think it was. Okay. I will probably show more of his stuff at a later date because I am thinking of probably doing a video essay on the websites at some point. That was my original plan when I thought of doing the live streams, to do that at the end. But I don't know if I'll do that now, but I still might. So anyway, this with the Freddy Fruit Cam, at some point he would disappear and then he would reappear as a jump scare.
I remember that. Yes, I do remember that when I initially went onto the website, and that did scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, carry on killing for some of the characters in Psychoville. Yeah, that would work.
We did say that earlier, yes.
So yeah, actually, while we've got so many people chatting in the stream, for those of you who don't remember, I am going to be interviewing Jon Aird, who was the producer, he was the head of BBC Online Comedy, and he was a producer of these websites. He also produced the Inside Number 9 online episode, which it's now been taken offline. It's quite interesting experiment. It was like a sort of hard to describe. It was kind of like GIFs with dialogue, and you'd go from one to the other to go through the story. And interestingly, it's if you do count it as an episode, which most people don't, but if you do, it's the only one where neither Steve or Reese appear, and they didn't write. So yeah. And Benson Maureen 97 says carry on scooping the brown carpet for the babies. And so yeah, if there's anyone in the chat now who has a question for him, I'll try and get his page up so you can have a look at his portfolio. So yeah, I can't remember if I explained before, but I emailed the company that comes up with that made the websites and said, hey, does anyone want to talk about I know it was over 10 years ago, but is there anyone there who wants to talk about Psychoville? And they were like, oh yeah, here's Jon Aird's email. We forwarded your email to Jon Aird. I was like, okay. And he was there winning the BAFTA with alongside Reece Shearsmith, and I can't remember his name, but one of the producers of the TV series. And Reece Shearsmith, of course, says in his speech, there was a TV series that went along with the websites because it didn't do very well in the ratings. Series 2, it did for series 1. Apparently, they went viral on Twitter at the time. But
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there was an interview with Reece Shearsmith going, so yeah, there's this thing called Twitter, and apparently it was one of the most talked about things on there. So yes, this is Jon Aird's website. So just gonna take you through that so you can see all the stuff he's worked on. So he's no longer freelance now, I think. So he's no longer working exclusively with the BBC. So obviously you can see his Psychoville stuff here. Don't know if that links to. That does link to the Psychoville website. The one that is intact. So this page does have the website links, but they won't work.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, if anyone in the comments has a question for him, let me know now, and I will write it down and save it for that. So let's see. Zion Grace, carry on subbing. Wait, I've just subbed. Thank you. Carry on questioning about Psychoville. Yes.
Yes.
That is what I will do. So yeah, you can see he's worked on a lot of these sort of in-universe websites. So I'm really looking forward to discussing those with him because yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see if he knows about Welcome Home, the very popular ARG at the moment. So yeah, we can wrap it up here. I was just thinking, I realized looking at my Holy of Holies, I was thinking of doing an extra episode of the stream because of the episode. Oh, Zion Craze, I do have a question. Was there something that was so messed up that you had to tell the guys no? Ooh, that would be interesting. Yeah. Well, if there was something, I'm sure he wouldn't share it. But he wouldn't share the actual joke, I don't think, if that did happen. But yeah, that would be an interesting question to ask. But yeah, I've realized that's the last website that was released for series 1. So we don't get anything until after episode 7.
Yes.
So I was wondering if you wanted to do episodes 6 and 7 as a double bill, maybe.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Brilliant. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. It's lovely having you as always. Continuing leaving your comments. Also, Grace says, because I know some of the messed up stuff they've done. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this after the fact, do leave me questions for Jon Aird in the comments. I will save everyone. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Go and check out George's channel. I've appeared in 2 of his videos, the Tommy one and what was the other one? I can't remember.
It's Mongrels.
Mongrels, that's right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Brian Damage. Thank you, Zion. Thank you, Ben Zamori. Thank you, Zion Craze, for your wonderful question. And yes, we will see you next time.
See you
Bye.
next time. Bye.